Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Gadigal people.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Wednesday, April 26. In Squiz Kids Today, record crowds for ANZAC Day, Belgium's seagull screeching contest, night sky light show wows Tassie, and our kids and media survey results. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
The ANZAC spirit was alive and well yesterday morning as record crowds turned out to dawn services in cities and country towns all over the country as the nation paused to give thanks to soldiers who went to war for us. At the National War Memorial in Canberra, a crowd of 30,000 gathered to pay their respects. Up in Sydney, an estimated 7,000 people gathered in Sydney's Martin Place, where Australia's first ever dawn service is said to have taken place almost 100 years ago. In Melbourne, it was standing room only at the Shrine of Remembrance, while a rainy start to Brisbane's day did nothing to deter thousands from attending the city's early morning ceremony. So, what are ANZACs exactly? ANZAC is short for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps and refers to the troops who fought alongside one another at the Battle of Gallipoli in Turkey back in 1915, so 108 years ago. Famously, it was a disastrous battle for Aussie troops, but their sacrifice, bravery and courage is what we pay tribute to today. ANZAC Day is a chance to commemorate, which is a fancy way of saying pausing to remember and give thanks to, all Australians who have fought for our country in multiple conflicts since 1915. People whose selflessness and sense of duty mean that we're all able to enjoy the freedom and quality of life that we do today. If you want to learn more about the history of ANZAC Day, check out our Squiz Kids shortcut to ANZAC Day. I've stuck a link to it in today's episode notes.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a new story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Belgium, where the annual Seagull Screeching Championships have just been held. Yep, you heard right. I said Seagull Screeching Championships. Because the screech of a seagull is such a pleasant sound, why wouldn't you want a room full of people screeching like seagulls? Each year, a bunch of Belgians get together in a coastal town to screech like seagulls in the hope of bridging the gap between the much maligned birds and humans. Much maligned is a fancy way of saying they're not very popular, generally speaking. Can't think why. I've stuck a link to video of the competition in today's episode notes. And while I'm tempted to suggest you all have your own competition in the classroom today as a special back-to-school treat, I have a feeling your teachers and parents might not agree. It's the Classroom Companion Clarion, letting us know that today's activity sheets are tied to this story in the podcast. Don't forget, each day with the podcast, Squiz Kids' very own primary school teacher Christy produces not one, but 3 excellent literacy activity sheets, one for every different ability level, tying a news item from this podcast to the Aussie literacy curriculum. They're available for free every day of the school term. Genius. Teachers, sign up to Squiz Kids Classroom at our website squizkids.com.au because who doesn't want free daily classroom resources?
Weird science.
Seagulls aren't the only majestic thing in the sky. And if you live in Tasmania or happen to have been down in Tassie the past few days, you'd know that a remarkable light show has been playing in the skies above the Apple Isle this past week or so. It's called the Aurora Australis, or the Southern Lights, and is essentially an incredible light show in the night sky, where pinks and greens and blues and yellows merge and sway and hypnotise. Auroras only happen near the Earth's poles. So, up near the North Pole, in and around the Arctic Circle, and down around near Antarctica, which is where Tasmania is. And get this, they are signs that there's been a big solar storm on the sun. A storm so massive and powerful that it kicks out gas and particles into space, which eventually enter Earth's atmosphere and create the most stunning light display. I've stuck a link in today's episode notes to photos of the Aurora Australis, currently wowing our friends down Tasmania way.
Newshounds!
Every Wednesday, Squizzy the Newshound sticks his nose into Squiz Kids HQ to report back on fishy stories he's sniffed out online. And today, Squizzy's doing a little bit of post-Easter holiday housekeeping. Back in February, you see, Squiz Kids sent a survey out to its listeners to find out where Aussie kids get their news and information from. And the results are in. According to the 775 parents and teachers we polled, while 64% of kids get their dose of daily news from Squiz Kids, hooray for that, some 41% of Aussie kids get their news from social media. And while social media, and I mean apps like TikTok and Instagram, are great for lots of reasons, we've always got to be extra careful whenever we come across anything we encounter online and do, as Squizzy says, to stop, think, and check. Stop before believing it, think about where it's coming from, who's writing it, and what possible reasons they might have for wanting us to believe something, and check to see if it's true. It's what smart newshounds do, after all. And if you're a classroom that's keen on becoming newshounds and joining the almost 1,000 other classrooms around Australia that have started doing our free media literacy program, hop onto our website squizkids.com.au and get cracking. Oh, did I mention it's free? And if you want to see the other results from our Kids and Media survey, that's also online at squizkids.com.au.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What does the acronym ANZAC stand for? Yeah, that's right, it stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. Question number 2. What's the name of the light show happening above Tassie this week? Yeah, well done if you got this one. It's Aurora Australis, or I'll also accept the Southern Lights. Question number 3. What sort of birds are people in Belgium imitating? Yeah, that's right, they're imitating seagulls.
Shout outs.
It's April 26. Today is International Guide Dog Day, celebrating the awesome work guide dogs everywhere do, helping people with low vision or blindness. If you're in Sydney, keep an eye out for a special pop-up event. Yep, that's right, a pop-up event. Too cute. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids, celebrating a birthday today. Michael from Junee, Zara from Yass, Laith from Quakers Hill, and Josh from Cannon Hill. And because many of you celebrated a birthday over the Easter holidays, we're going to press pause on classroom shoutouts and spend the next week or so catching up on belated birthday shoutouts. Because everyone deserves a birthday shout-out. So, settle in, because today it's a happy belated birthday to Brooklyn from Hobart, Fox from Stanwell Park, Orlando and Ellie from Holsworthy, Layla from Warrnambool, Milan from Adelaide, Ben from Tarrington, Matilda from Ivanhoe, Tanae from Craigieburn, Cody from Lake Bolac, Levi from Oak Park, Emily and Clint from Cronulla, Jane and Spencer from Paraburu, Daniel from Abbotsford, Sophie from Broadbeach Waters, Jack from Wellington Point, Amy from Wellers Hill, Angus from Brunswick West, Kathleen from Woongarra, Caden from Oakdale, and Ivy from Sydney. And one final special classroom shout out to my friends at Cannon Hill State School. It's always a pleasure to visit with you guys, and it was great seeing you last week. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you want a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.